From Twitch, Periscope, and YouNow to Facebook and Instagram Live, it's becoming easier and easier for someone to live stream any moment of their day. While most streams only involve a late night gamer killing time or a random celebrity communicating with fans, every once in a while something extraordinary and horrifying happens. Here are 15 of the creepiest things to happen during a live stream. Keep in mind that some are much worse than others. Number 15. Cat Scratch. If you get squeamish at the sight of blood, this next video will give you chills. This YouTuber and online gamer, Sarah Kate, was live streaming on Twitch late at night when things got out of hand. Sarah was sitting in front of her computer in a dark room. Her cat was perched on a chair behind her. While taking a break from the game and chatting with a few followers, Sarah leaned back to play with her cat. Sarah talked cutesy, saying "give me kisses," and even rubbed her face on the adorable feline. Apparently the cat wasn't having it, or perhaps wanted to play a bit too rough because it quickly clawed at Sarah's eye. The motion was quick and didn't seem too damaging. Sarah immediately threw her head down in pain though, and it was clear the cat had caused some harm. After a moment or so, Sarah finally looked up and showed that blood was pouring from her left eye. It looked almost as though she was crying blood. She sobbed and asked followers, "What should I do?" as the blood continued to trickle down her face. For the most part, this video is just unsettling because the amount of blood it contains, but it's also a bit terrifying to wonder what damage this may cause. Number 14. Anthony Cumia. This popular radio personality is best known for his work on the Opie and Anthony radio show, which ran from 1995 to 2014. Those that don't know him from his radio spot may know him from a domestic abuse incident that went viral. In December 2015, Anthony Cumia was arrested and charged for domestic abuse, a disturbing evening that was apparently live streamed by Cumia's 26-year-old girlfriend, Danny Golightly. After the video was streamed via Periscope, clips began circulating the web. Most of the clips began with Danny showing viewers her swollen and allegedly broken hand. "I'm waiting for police right now," Danny said to the audience.
"Hi, I'm in Long Island. I got my hand broken. I'm waiting for the police to come,
Where's
but oh my god, don't hit me again."
I'm kidding you.
Stay away from me. I tried to call the police.
Off camera, Cumia was mostly trying to play cool and brush everything off by saying she was being silly and inviting her to sing karaoke. Danny called Cumia a psycho and laughed at the fact he acted so differently on camera. For several months, this was the only footage most knew about, but later on an extended version was uploaded. In this longer video of the broadcast, Cumia is seen searching through his home for a handgun he lost. As he rummages through the house, Danny whispers to Periscope viewers that Cumia threatened he would lie to police and get her in trouble.
"Where the fuck is my gun? Fuck!"
I was told I'd get my reputation ruined, and I'd be ruined with the community and everyone would hate me. And I was like, alright, well I guess I can do it first then.
She also warns that she needs to go soon so she won't get hurt. Not long after this, 2 police officers show up. Danny whispers, "We're in trouble now." Danny and Cumia both convince police that everything was an accident, and the officers leave without hesitation. Danny complains that the officers are horrible for leaving her, clearly covered in bruises, while her intoxicated boyfriend searches for a firearm. The pair are both clearly drunk in this video, and their relationship is an abusive and unhealthy one. This video gives an alarming look into an abusive relationship with someone who admits to be dependent on alcohol. This should serve as a lesson to anyone stuck in an unhealthy relationship to get out before you get both hands broken in 1 year, according to Danny. Number 13. Cockroaches. Yet another chilling entry for viewers who fear bugs, specifically roaches. This live streamer known as Battle Athlete got quite the scare while playing Fighting Vipers while online. As he was focused on his game, you can barely make out a roach crawling onto his shoulder. The roach moves towards his back and that's when he notices. He jumps forward and shakes, asking the girl behind him, "Was that you? Is there something on my back?" She immediately notices that a large roach is on his back and she runs out of the room. As he follows quickly behind, the rest of this video is just Battle Athlete screaming in the background. You can almost feel the 6-legged creepy crawly sneaking up on your shoulder as you watch.
Is that you? Is there something on the back of my neck right now? Here, get something from the hamper and wipe it off me, quick! Smack it, quick! Help! Help!
What do I do?
Help! 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 Help!
Here.
Help! No, come smack it off! Did I get it? Baby!
Shut the door!
Number 12, Marina Joyce. It's fair to say that anything Marina Joyce posts nowadays is unsettling or concerning in some manner. Who would forget the infamous publicity stunt that Marina pulled to convince her fans that she had been kidnapped? During a livestream in July 2016, Maria attempted to put the rumors to rest. Unfortunately, her strange behavior only fueled the fire. From her unusual paranoid glances and fidgety movement, to the way she seems to whisper at random points, Marina unsettled her fans even further. When asked about her bruises seen all over her body, she said, "I was not okay and it's a sad story, but I can't tell the story because it's personal." And she then goes on to tell her fans that she loves them and that they need to know that.
Explain the bruises. It's actually a private story. It's quite a sad story. But like recently, it's actually the bruises. I wasn't okay recently, so like it's really sad about the bruises. But I can't say what happened. But okay, and I really do love you guys. So I just want to let you guys know that I love you, and that you need to know how much I love you, and that I really care about you. And just as much as you care about me, I care about you.
Some believe this is her hinting at an abusive relationship or even self-harm. Later, she reads a comment aloud that says, "If you're not okay, say hi to everyone in the chat." She immediately goes on to yell hello at everyone viewing her.
Why do you whisper? If you're not okay, say hi to everyone who's joining. Hi everyone who's joining! I really love you. Thank you for joining.
Most can brush this off as a misunderstanding, but others grip their concern and search for a cry for help. Whether it's drug abuse, a mental illness, or an actual abusive situation, it's clear that Marina Joyce is going through something pretty heavy, and her adoring fans are scared for her safety. Number 11, Chicago Kidnapping. In January 2017, a Chicago teen was kidnapped and tortured on Facebook Live. The victim was an 18-year-old male with special needs. He had been reported missing by family just a few hours before the stream began. During the live stream, a few other teens were laughing and eating while they talked about what to do next. The victim was burned with their cigarettes. His clothes were cut off and his hair was cut in a violent way that caused his scalp to bleed. Aside from the cruel laughing, the suspects also made remarks about Donald Trump, president-elect at the time. According to some that viewed the stream, they forced their victim to also make negative remarks about Trump. 2 males and 2 females were later arrested for this sick crime. While they did seem to show remorse, it's hard to believe that anyone twisted enough to do this to someone with special needs feels any kind of guilt. This case caused a lot of controversy as some claimed it was not a hate crime, though it's clear that hate is what fueled the attack. There are clips of the stream available online, but be warned, it isn't easy to watch.
Hey, shout out to PBG. Shout out to PBG. Them niggas real, shorty. Them the realest niggas cause anything more.
Number 10, Live Robbery. Though at the time, having something horrible happen to you on a live stream may seem like your worst nightmare, it can often come in handy. For one, if something serious happens, you've got immediate evidence without putting in any work. Furthermore, you've got a whole audience there for you through a scarring event. That's exactly what happened to this gamer. Sejin is a female gamer who posts videos to YouTube and streams live on Twitch. One night around 4 a.m. when she was streaming, she heard a loud bang outside. She asked her boyfriend to go check and see if one of her cats had knocked something over. He goes in and investigates the area to find the cat sitting on the counter staring at the door. Of course, he checks through the peephole but apparently sees nothing and heads back towards the room where Sejin is still streaming. Just then the intruders kick down their door and run in yelling with guns pointed. As soon as this happens, Sejin jumps out of her seat, leaving the stream going. She runs into their living room and more shouting can be heard. The intruders start asking where the narcotics are and proceed to steal their money, luggage, jewelry, and credit cards.
What the hell?
DB back home. What are you doing? DB. Please, DB.
Apparently, during this robbery, they explained that they originally came to the apartment complex to rob a drug dealer, but found out they would be unable and chose a random apartment instead. At one point during the live stream, one of the intruders can even be seen walking in front of the webcam with a gun in hand. While this break-in was terrifying and likely upsetting for Sejin, she was able to find comfort through her followers who reached out to her. One follower even helped her provide the stream video to police for evidence. Number 9. 4chan fire. Some of you may have heard of this one before, as it is quite popular. In 2013, a 20-year-old college student identified only as Steven posted to 4chan that he wanted to commit suicide. While Steven did not give any direct reasons as to why he wanted to end his life, he did explain that he had been on the site for nearly 10 years and wanted to give back to the community per se by live streaming his suicide. 4chan users sadly encouraged Steven to go through with his suicide and his plan to live stream it. Steven quickly set up a stream to a website called Chatting. Just before setting things up, he allegedly took a handful of pills and drank a generous amount of vodka to wash them down. Once the stream was set and going, Steven started a small fire in the corner of his dorm room and crawled under his bed. Followers in the stream encouraged his death, expressed their shock and concern, or watched silently in fear or awe. On the original 4chan post, commenters complained about not being able to view the stream because the chat had reached maximum capacity. About 200 users were watching this young man kill himself, and not one single viewer tried contacting emergency services. While still under the bed and likely passing out from the combination of pills, vodka, and smoke, Steven commented things such as, "I'm fucked" and "I'm on fire." Later in the stream, before the fire spread fatally, firefighters bust down the door and carried Steven out. Reports were made by university officials that claimed Steven had been going through tough family issues, but did survive the incident and was getting help. Not much has been heard about Steven since, and most traces of the video have either been wiped or simply lost from the web. Number 8. Live car crash. Facebook Live is a fun and convenient way to connect with friends and family on the spot. It's useful for family gatherings, company events, and just reducing boredom. For this teen though, the fun, exciting Facebook feature led to her death. In December 2016, an 18-year-old Pennsylvania teen was driving with a friend sometime after midnight on a busy local highway. Brooke Hughes grabbed her phone and started a live video. Less than 1 minute into the live stream, her passenger and friend asked, "Are you going live?" A split second after the question, a tractor truck rear-ended their vehicle. After the sounds of tires screeching and glass breaking, the stream went black and silent for 7 minutes. A man was later heard talking, but it's not clear if this man was an emergency responder on the scene or the truck driver. The video then ended and was posted to Facebook. Hughes clearly did not post the video as she and her passenger died in the crash. Many believe it had to do with her phone dying or closing. When a Facebook Live video ends, it automatically posts to the user's page. Pennsylvania police stated that the video was removed, but it's impossible to know if viewers caught a copy first. As for the fault of the crash, the damage was too serious to tell if it was the fault of Hughes for driving distracted or something on the truck driver's part. But it's a good note not to use your phone while driving. Even if it isn't the cause of the crash, having the phone in your hand can greatly delay your reaction time. Number 7. Live stand-up. For the world, and especially America, 2016 was a wild year. Despite crazy elections, there were also mass controversies and technological advances. This incident brings those two together. In August 2016, a 23-year-old African-American woman was fatally shot by police. An intense standoff prior to the shooting was recorded on 2 Facebook Live videos. In the first video, an officer shows up to the home of Corin Shandon Gaines. He stands in the doorway and tries to talk to Gaines, but according to reports of those that witnessed the video, she either ignored him or didn't understand him as she never spoke directly to him. This video was removed shortly after the shooting. The second video, which stayed up, shows Gaines telling a 5-year-old boy that the cops are there to kill them. Officers showed up originally to arrest Gaines and a man named Kareem Courtney for outstanding warrants. Gaines' warrant was over not appearing in court for a prior charge. Kareem Courtney fled the apartment with a 1-year-old child, leaving Gaines and the older child home. Courtney was caught and arrested without struggle. Gaines, on the other hand, allegedly aimed a 12-gauge shotgun at officers during the standoff and refused to cooperate. Reports also claim that viewers of the livestream encouraged Gaines to not comply with the officers' demands. After a 7-hour standoff, Gaines pointed her shotgun at officers and threatened to kill them. One officer, for reasons unexplained, fired a shot at her. In response, she fired 2 shots back at the crowd of officers and SWAT members. After this, she was quickly shot down, and the 5-year-old boy was injured in the process. Gaines, of course, died from the incident, and the child was treated for minor injuries. This occurrence during a time of high tension between officers and the Black Lives Matter movement. While some saw this as another unfair and sketchy killing by police, others believe that Gaines had ample opportunity to avoid conflict. It is unclear if the live video was ever removed, or if Gaines' account was deactivated after the conflict. Number 6. Chicago shooting. 28-year-old Anthony Perkins was fatally shot in 2016, and Facebook was able to witness it all. Perkins was walking around his neighborhood while live streaming to his Facebook friends. He spoke to neighbors outside and directly to the camera. Witnesses scream in the background as the shots ring out and Perkins falls to the ground. The phone shifts around before going completely black. The phone abruptly stops moving, but people can still be heard yelling in the video, which continues for 30 minutes before ending and automatically posting to the young man's page. He was rushed to the hospital but pronounced dead 2 hours later, as his wounds were too fatal. He was a father of 3, and while police reports that he had gang ties, friends and family claim that he was no longer affiliated with gang activity. Number 5. Mother of 2. Kiana Herndon, a 26-year-old mother of 2, died while chatting with thousands of Facebook friends. Herndon was holding her 1-year-old son and talking to friends while streaming a live video. She was chatting about going back to school to complete her education. Herndon had over 3,000 friends on Facebook, so it's uncertain just how many people were viewing. As she spoke, she began to sweat and wipe her face. After this, she shook her head and fell backwards. Her aunt, who was watching the video, was immediately concerned for her niece and knew something was horribly wrong. Her son then began to play with the phone as she can be heard gasping for air in the background. Herndon's friends burst into the room and tried to help her and ultimately call 911. The mother was rushed to the hospital but died later that same day. Her cause of death was a heart issue triggered by thyroid problems. Friends and family said the young, hardworking mom loved to showcase her life on Facebook, but no one suspected that social media would record her death as well. The video was later removed. Number 4. Frederick J. Bodie. Things went tragically downhill for this aspiring actor after he was charged with sexual assault. The 33-year-old father of 6 had been arrested on suspicion of sexual assault. He was let go after posting a $100,000 bond. No formal charges were filed, but Bodie was expected to show up to a court date after being released. A few days after being let out of jail, officers were called by a relative of Bodie. The relative explained that they were worried about his well-being because he seemed distraught on a live stream. The video began around 5:30 a.m. in early January 2017. Bodie had been crying and expressed a desire to die while on Facebook Live. Despite the call from police, they were just too late. He had shot himself in the head while on Facebook Live and was announced dead at 6:30 a.m. that same day in the driver's seat of his car. This grisly death came just a few weeks after another live suicide was posted. As a result, Facebook gave the option for viewers to immediately report a video that violates their community guidelines. If a report is sent, the stream will be ended immediately. But what does this feature do to save the lives of those on the verge of suicide? Number 3. Nakia Vennett. Just after Frederick J. Bodie committed suicide on Facebook Live, so did a young teen from Miami. The 14-year-old Nakia Vennett began a live stream to friends on Facebook where she expressed that she had been suffering from depression and feelings of paranoia. The live stream lasted for 2 hours, in which Vennett cried and explained her emotions to few viewers. A friend watching the stream called local officers, but there were several misunderstandings on Vennett's exact address of residence, and the officers arrived too late. They busted in around 3 a.m. to find Vennett hanging from a noose in her bathroom, as her foster parents slept in a room just down the hall. There were countless efforts to resuscitate the teen, but she was already deceased. Reports claim that the video ended before the teen killed herself, while others say that they witnessed her hanging. Either way, the tragic video was immediately removed from Facebook. Number 2. Phil and O Castillo. In 2016, Phil and O Castillo and his girlfriend and child were pulled over in St. Paul, Minnesota. The officer asked for Castillo's ID and registration. Before reaching for his information, Castillo told officers that he was licensed to carry a weapon and had one in his pants pocket. He likely said this to prevent the officer from seeing the weapon as he leaned over and becoming concerned. Despite this effort to prevent conflict, a massive and tragic conflict ensued. Castillo reached towards the glove box for his registration and the officer immediately shot Castillo 7 times without question or a second thought. Seconds after the shooting, Castillo's girlfriend, Diamond Reynolds, began live streaming to Facebook as her boyfriend lay slumped in the driver's seat. As she explained to the livestream audience what was happening, she pleaded with officers to hurry and get an ambulance to the scene. As she explains the situation to potential Facebook viewers, the officer that shot Castillo screams in the background for Diamond to stay in the car. The officer is clearly distraught at the scene of his own actions.
He killed my boyfriend. He's licensed. He's licensed to carry. He was trying to get out his ID and his wallet out his pocket, and he let the officer know that he had a firearm and he was reaching for his wallet, and the officer just shot him in his arm. We're waiting for a back. I will, sir. No worries. I will.
Even worse is that when emergency responders finally arrived, officers removed Diamond from the car and took her 4-year-old daughter in another direction. After seeing a man be shot and killed right before them, the mother and child were separated, allegedly for hours after the incident. The video is available online, but please be aware that it is gruesome and heartbreaking to watch. The officer that killed Castillo, identified as Geronimo Yanez, was charged with second-degree manslaughter and 2 counts of dangerous discharge of a firearm. Before we get to number 1, if you've ever been curious as to what I look like in real life, then follow me on Instagram at DylanIsChillinYT. I also have a Twitter at YTChills where I post video updates. I'd really appreciate it if you followed me, and feel free to send me a DM if you have any questions or suggestions. Number 1, Nicole Davis. On December 30th, 2016, 12-year-old Caitlin Nicole Davis from Silver Creek, Georgia killed herself in a live stream. Nicole had a very active online presence. She ran a blog where she talked about her bipolar disorder and family issues. She posted vlog-style videos to YouTube and she streamed live very often. She was known online as Dolly or It's Dolly. In many of her live streams, she talked about the discourse in her family and admitted that her stepfather tried to rape her and told her to kill herself.
Like, he was trying to have sex with me, and I was like, no, you're 40. My mom, right now, where is she? I don't know. I have no idea. She's out somewhere. I don't know where. She's been gone for hours. But where was she whenever all that happened? She was gone.
Throughout several other videos, she had heated arguments with her mom over her stepfather's drug use, men her mother brings home, and Nicole's self-harm. From the writing on her blog, and from the several times she cries out her emotions in live streams, it was clear to see that this young girl was not in a healthy mindset and was having trouble coping with her home life. In one video just before her suicide, she cried on camera and explained she was trying her hardest to be happy but just couldn't handle the emotional pain anymore. She said that no one wanted her to live, and she had no reason to go on. She also stated, "No one wants me, and if they do, it's for sexual reasons. No one cares about me." The trauma of sexual assault and a broken family life had taken its toll on Nicole, and she could no longer cope. Shortly after this video, which is described as "last cry for help," Nicole live streamed her suicide. The first few minutes of the video are of Nicole apologizing and explaining that she just can't deal with the burden of life anymore, almost like a digital suicide note. Then she hangs herself from a tree in her backyard. She struggles a bit at first and then just sways from the tree. Family can be heard in the distance looking for her. Although when they found her, it was not caught on video. This case is a truly harrowing story. A young girl was facing mental struggles and basically crying to the world for help. As you may have noticed, many entries were related to suicide and abuse. If you are a victim of abuse or are considering suicide, please know that you aren't alone. There are people and sources willing to help you through this tough time. Some resources will be listed in the description below. Thanks for watching.